In today's video, I'm going to share with you how snacking, eating smaller meals between bigger meals, makes you crave more sugar. And I'm also going to share with you a plan on how you can stop snacking and stop your sugar cravings. I was always a snacker. I always used to bring a snack with me whenever I was going. I was scared to be caught hungry anywhere. And honestly, I thought I was doing a good thing for myself by eating frequent small meals that were giving me energy. I always used to bring with me an orange or a banana or a granola bar, an apple, something of course filled with sugar, even if it was natural. And of course, when I had my children, I turned them into snackers as well. Because I was always bringing food with me, my children were always grazing on something. I never really gained significant amount of weight, so I never thought of snacking being a problem. However, I had all the other signs that were pointing to blood sugar imbalance, including gestational prediabetes, skin tags, and energy problems. Like I would have significant drops of energy, I would feel very tired, and I needed sugar to correct it. I also developed a whole slew of sugar-related diseases, including acne, sinus infections, yeast infections, digestive problems, joint problems, and even brain fog. I know that some of you may argue that these conditions have nothing to do with sugar and snacking, but trust me, they do. All of these conditions disappeared once I started eating a low-carb diet and stopped snacking. As a sugar detox coach, very often when I talk to people about sugar detox and their plan to stop their cravings, the first thing they think is about what are they going to eat. We discuss with my clients what are they going to eat to avoid sugar. Usually it should be protein and fiber-based meals. And then I almost always hear a question from them. What about snacks? I'm trying to think what am I gonna replace my snacks with. I understand their worries. Almost every person who is addicted to sugar loves snacking. I used to love snacking as well. In our defense, up until recently, only a few years ago, maybe 5 years or 7 at the most, eating a small frequent meals was the right thing to do, considered the right thing to do to achieve weight loss and to be healthy. Only recently, in the last few years, keto diets and intermittent fasting became popular and lots of people started practicing it, and they realized that eating snacks, eating too often, makes them actually more hungry. And in the last 2 or 3 years, even more science comes in to prove that eating too often makes us gain more weight and makes us hungrier. Continuous glucose monitors became available to people, even those who do not have diabetes, and people started wearing them. And from their data we learned that the more frequent people eat, the more their blood sugar stays up and they feel hungrier when it happens. Usually people start feeling hungry at the moment when their blood sugar drops. So every time we eat, the blood sugar goes up, and then when it drops, we feel hungry and want to eat. And the more frequent we eat, the more drops we have and the more often we feel hungry. I know so many people who were terrified at the thought of going to get their blood drawn in the morning, and they knew that they will have to stay away from food for a few hours, or maybe some kind of other medical procedure that required them to fast in the morning, and they were really scared to be hungry. But these same people, once they start practicing intermittent fasting and make longer stretches between their meals, find that they're actually not hungry and they feel much better that way. Our need for snacking throughout the day actually starts in the morning with our breakfast. And unfortunately, so many cultures around the world that traditionally start their day with a sweet breakfast. Let's look at American breakfast. Traditionally, many Americans start their day with a bowl of cereal or a muffin or a bagel or some kind of other high carbohydrate food, and they quite often would pair it with a glass of orange juice and a sweetened coffee. This kind of breakfast spikes the blood sugar really high up first thing in the morning, and you don't have to be a diabetic or have any insulin resistance problems to actually have that blood sugar go up. And the more carb and high glycemic foods you ate for breakfast, the faster and higher your blood sugar will go up, and then it's going to drop. This is what we're seeing on these continuous blood glucose monitors and on the people's charts, where blood sugar is measured every 5 minutes. The higher the glycemic index of the food that people ate for breakfast, the higher the blood sugar will go up, and the more it's going to drop after. And then about 90 minutes to 2 hours after that high, the blood sugar is going to drop, and it's going to drop really low. And at that moment, the person usually feels hungry and tired, and naturally we crave something sweet because our brain knew that we had a really good spike of energy from eating something sweet before, so it learns to make us crave something sweet. Many people would go for a sweetened snack at this time. It can be either a piece of fruit, banana, orange, or it can be granola or some kind of sweetened trail mix. The less healthy conscious people would just go and eat some candy or cookies or something like that, or a sweetened drink. We get a temporary burst of energy from that snack and then another crash. And throughout the day we have many of these crashes where we are constantly hungry and we are constantly looking for something new and sweet to eat or drink. And of course the problem with all that is that all that extra sugar in the body, it's doing its dirty job. It's creating disease in the body. The more sugar we eat, the more likely we're gonna create more sugar-related problems. All those rumors about our brains running on sugar and needing glucose to work more efficiently are not true. Our brains actually work best on ketones from fat. And sugar just gives our brain a very temporary burst of energy that we end up paying for by developing metabolic disease, developing other problems, and aging our bodies faster than we should. Another danger of eating too often is the fact that it interrupts our digestive process. Say you ate your breakfast or lunch, and the food started digesting in your stomach. It gets coated with digestive juices, the acids, and it gets disinfected and prepared to be further broken down into nutrients in your small intestine. And this process takes quite a few hours, especially if you eat protein and some good fibrous food. And when you eat a snack 2 hours after that digestion started from your main meal, you interrupt that process, and the stomach gets confused, and not fully digested food after that enters into your small intestine, where it's not properly prepared for digestion and breaking down into minerals, and instead it starts rotting there and becomes a breeding ground for parasites and other bad bacteria. And that's why it is important to have at least 3 to 4 hours between meals. And we live in a society where we are constantly snacking and constantly ruining our digestion and bringing our blood sugar up all the time. So instead, you should stop snacking and eat only 2 to 4 solid meals a day. And it's the same about drinks. If you are used to drinking anything but water and maybe unsweetened tea between your meals, you need to stop that and keep those drinks to only the time when you are eating something. So here is how you stop the problem of snacking and stick to only eating 2 to 4 meals a day. You need to balance your blood sugar first thing in the morning. Instead of bread, cereal, pasta, muffins, and high carbohydrate meals in the morning, you need to go for 30 grams of protein from preferably animal sources like cottage cheese, yogurt, eggs, meats, even fish. You can pair it with non-starchy vegetables. And if you start your day this way, you're gonna feel full first thing in the morning, and you're gonna keep your blood sugar balanced. and it is much easier for you to not crave that snack and last all the way until lunch, those 3 to 4 hours before you have your second real meal of the day. Of course, to keep your blood sugar balanced, you will have to follow up with low carb and high protein meals throughout the day, but it's going to be easy after a breakfast like that because your blood sugar is already going to be stable and you set the tone for the day. If people wear a continuous glucose monitor, they notice when they eat breakfast filled with protein that their blood sugar does not rise that much and it stays steady throughout the day, giving them steady energy. Right now, I practice intermittent fasting, and once I started practicing it, I noticed that my need for snacking went away completely. And even if I do feel a little bit hungry, I try to stretch, I try to drink water and stretch that time until I'm at least 4 hours from my last meal. There are many benefits to intermittent fasting and stretching time between your meals because at that time when we are not eating, our bodies actually have time for healing. The minute we put something in our mouth, our bodies become busy with digesting that food, and when there is no time for healing, we become chronically ill. If you look at the development of human race, our ancestors used to be hunter-gatherers. That means that they were constantly looking for their food because they were not farming, they did not have stores, so they were walking around and looking for their next meal. And that means that they used to be hungry a lot. So our bodies were designed to be able to wait for the next meal. And certainly there was no processed food and the high sugar food at the time of our ancestors. The biggest carbohydrates they would get was seasonal berries and maybe some root veggies that they were able to find. Scientists discovered that only with the development of agriculture, and especially when humans started to eat the grains, when the metabolic problems started to appear in people. And only a few centuries ago, which is nothing for the development of human bodies, humans discovered how to derive sugar from sugarcane and beets. And that's when all the modern problems started, all the metabolic diseases caused by elevated blood sugar. The moral of the story is this: the more frequently you eat, the more hungry you are. My hope with this video is to convince you to stretch the time between your meals and stop snacking. And this will help you stop your sugar cravings and reach many of your health goals. The best place to start planning your sugar detox is my free sugar detox guide. You can download the PDF with it by following the link in the description. And of course, I want you to know that I can help you create your own personalized sugar detox plan with just one private consultation. You can find the link under the video. Remember to like this video and subscribe to this channel to get more sugar detox tips. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!